EMC, I'm sorry, I don't remember what all the initials stand for, fund for the digitizing of at least half of the full collection of Goler's correspondence during his tenure as Rochester's first full-time public health officer. And I can tell you from having looked at parts of it and having had a student already work on a finding aid for at least the first half of the collection, it is a fascinating view into late 19th and early 20th century public health medicine. And in fact, again, thanks to the efforts of the local history division, it is the only publicly held collection in a public library that is listed in the National Library of Medicine Index of Significant Collections. So we are indeed very fortunate, and I have to put all my plugs in for everybody here, the museum, the library, and this college for supporting so actively and strongly all of the efforts in our local history. And now I'll move on to George Goler, who supported so much in public health. And I will say, excuse me, I have managed, thanks to, I believe, my granddaughter in this week, to acquire the bane of all public health, the cold. And so it has, moved its natural course, but unfortunately that does leave me a little gravelly, and I may either sneeze or cough, so I beg your indulgence. Okay, George Goler, and this is a little known picture of George Goler as a very young man. Goler, the man in his times. He was definitely a man of his times and also a man beyond his times. Like many of his time, he believed in solutions. The populists and progressives who dominated the political landscape at the turn of leading up to and at the turn of the century believed that there was no problem that you couldn't solve, and that it could be argued that the use of any expert, as long as you found a true expert, would provide the solution. And certainly Goler brought that viewpoint to public health. He was part of a society that was on the move, that was embracing technology such as they understood it at the time, and innovation. But it was also a society that still maintained the common reaction to disease and to medicine, which was fear. I think we all can identify with that today, but I think it's important for us to step back and understand how much larger the fears were then, how much harder it was to conceptualize control of medical problems, and how much people remained tied to old ways and were very resistant to surrender them. There was still the idea that you could be too sick to have medical care, which meant, for example, when Goler had physicians come to Hope Hospital during the smallpox epidemic that we'll talk about,